Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call to order this Tuesday study session of the Pierce County Council. It is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. The time is 12:02 p.m. All members are present except for Councilmember Morel, who is excused. That brings us to item number 2, review of today's council meeting agenda. Ms. Long, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. This is your agenda for this afternoon's regular council meeting. It is amended. We'll start with your consent agenda. You have one item under introduction and scheduling, and that is O 2024-540. This is adopting interim amendments to the Pierce County Code. This is for Chapter 17C30, which is the International Residential Code, Chapter 1825 definitions, and Chapter 18A38 temporary development to fill an immediate need for emergency shelter for unsheltered residents of Pierce County. This is for referral to CDEC, and you'll be setting the final on this for August 20th. Moving to final action on your consent, you have one confirmation resolution, and that is R 2024-179. This is reappointing 4 existing members to the Pierce County Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. You have no proclamations this afternoon, and you have no resolutions on your agenda, so I'll move right to section 9. You have 5 ordinances. The first 2 are both authorizing the prosecuting attorney to commence condemnation proceedings. The first of those is O 2024-527, and this one is for County Road Project 573. This is entitled 122nd Avenue East, 146th Street Court East to 136th Street East. This received a due pass as substituted at EIDC on June 25th. The other condemnation proposal is O 2024-529S, and this is for the acquisition of real property for County Road Project 5965. This is emergency repair 264th Street East. This is bridge number 26184C. This one also received a due pass as substitute or recommendation at EIDC on June 25th. The next 3 are all collective bargaining agreements. You have reviewed these in study session previously. The first is O 2024-533, and this is with the Washington State Council of County and City Employees. This is local AFL-CIO local 120 juvenile court unit. And the number 2 is O 2024-534. This one is with also Council 2, Washington State Council of County and City Employees. This is the Pierce County Corrections and Detention Center non-uniformed group. And the third is O 2024-535. This is the Council 2, Washington State Council of County and City Employees. This is AFL-CIO Local 120 General Unit. And those are your agenda items for this afternoon's council meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Long. For the record, Councilmember Morel has joined us. Are there questions or comments about this afternoon's council meeting agenda? I don't see any. No amendments, no grant reports.
No.
We're at item number 3, review of committee agendas for the week. Ms. Long.
All right, so we have the meeting this afternoon at 3, and then tomorrow's Flood Control Zone District Executive Committee meeting has been canceled. That's it.
Thank you. Questions or comments about committee agendas for the week? Not seeing any. Let's move to external boards and commissions. We're at item number 4 of our agenda. Mr. Taylor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'll be quick today. 2 items to report on this week. The first is the Puget Sound Regional Council Growth Management Policy Board meets this Thursday, July 18th at 10 a.m. They don't have action items on their agenda other than their consent agenda, but there are several discussion items I'd like to highlight. They all relate to open space and urban tree canopy and conservation. The first is a presentation discussion about open space trends in the region. That'll be provided by PSRC staff. And then there are two items related to urban tree canopy and urban forestry. The first is a discussion about measures that can be taken to protect mature forest when adding housing. So these, I'm expecting this is a tool set or toolbox that PSRC is developing in that regard. The second is a discussion of the Tree Equity Collaborative. That information will be provided by the Department of Natural Resources. That's an effort to provide information to local governments on the condition of urban tree cover within their respective jurisdictions. And it's also an effort to build relationships, collaborations to improve urban tree canopy cover in cities. So those are the items for PSRC. And then the local version, Pierce County Regional Council meets also on Thursday, July 18th at the regular time of 6 p.m. They also don't have much in terms of action items on their agenda. They do have several updates that I think members will be interested in. The first is an update from Pierce Transit. That'll be provided by Pierce Transit staff. SHAPE is also providing an update. So SHAPE staff will provide that update, and then there'll be a roundtable discussion on the comprehensive plan periodic update. That'll be guided by the chair and vice chair of the Growth Management Coordinating Committee. So that'll be, I think, an interesting topic for the membership of the PCRC. And so those are the items that I have to report on this week.
Thank you. Are there questions for Mr. Taylor? Not saying any. Thank you. Do members have other external boards and commission updates to share? Oh, thank you. Councilmember Coover.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't know that this really counts, but I did go to the aviation work group that was held on the 11th down in Olympia. I was just there for half the morning, but it was kind of the setup for the next group. And I just thought it would be kind of interesting where, they are not an airport siting commission. And the role is to consider the system as a whole and looking at multimodal alternatives. They will fully consider all existing airports except for SeaTac. And they are still looking for about 8 members to be in this work group. So it was kind of, the gal who was running the meeting said that the governor wanted to have a meeting, and yet they still have to develop a scope of work, the budget, and the budget request is anticipated, and they have to have a report in by December 1. So it was a very skeleton meeting, and they're just trying to discern on how to set things up. So for folks who are thinking that, they're at it again, they're not yet. So it's just kind of the beginnings. Thought I would fill you in on that work group. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the update, Councilmember Coover. Vice Chair Campbell.
Just a little clarification on that, Councilmember Coover. You said they're not yet at it, but you'll fill us in when they are. So what is the timeline for that then, that they are coming back with that?
They don't know. They still have to get someone from the airline industry, a citizen from Eastern Washington, then they'll need a rep at large, someone from freight, someone from trucking, someone from, I can't read my writing, another organization, and then a couple of statewide environmentalists. So they can't really proceed when they only have half the group. But, the folks that they have appointed, were there, they introduced themselves. And it just was kind of a get to know who's here so far. The only date that seems to be written in stone is the December 1 report.
All right. Well, thank you for your leadership, and let us know when they come with their recommendations. Thank you.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Morrell.
Thank you. Councilmember Coover, was there a strong statement made at that meeting that greenfields were off the list and that they were looking at established airports?
The statement was made that is their first, to fully consider all existing airports except SeaTac. They did not mention greenfields unless it was in the afternoon. The meeting was scheduled from like 9 to 4 or 5, and not yeah, I don't know that they had any business after lunch to do. There were several folks there who testified in the beginning who are concerned, thinking that this is just going to be a repeat and they're going to go after Pierce County again. But that was not really validated at this time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other external boards or commission updates? See any further? Read item number 5, discussion of administrative items. Ms. Murray, good morning.
Good morning, Julie Murray, Chief of Staff. All of you have an email in your inbox, but I thought I'd use this as an opportunity to let you know that Denise Johnson has decided to retire effective the end of this month. And so I hope we can revise the council's agenda for next week so that we can recognize her for her 36 years of service. And then hopefully maybe the following Tuesday or last day, we can organize maybe a lunch here at the council's office, because we do have on July 30th, the regular meeting of the council is in lieu of in district, Councilmember Krueger's district. So we can do something here to be able to say goodbye as a council. I know I speak for everyone. She's done a great job. We've done a lot of work in terms of cross-training the clerks. So it'll maybe rough in the beginning, but I told her she had to be on retainer for at least a month for the, call a friend. But I hope we can all just wish Denise well. So when you see her, you can tell her yourself. The other issue I wanted to bring up, and it's something that maybe you want to have as a council at a study session, is sort of a discussion about the new building. You're getting your quarterly, or I think it's monthly reports about the renovations happening in the city county building and our eventual move to Market Street. But I did want to let you know I had a meeting Friday, and it was with all the departments that are involved. And it was the first time, at least, I had seen a real tentative schedule for us. I am having, though, a follow-up meeting with the facilities department, because it does have the council being one of the last to move into the new building, and it would be the end of next year. That is, people ask me that question all the time. When is it? And at least we have some vision of the end of next year, but I let them know we obviously have biennial budget that could happen there. And then there's some other assumptions about movement in order to do the renovations here. And so I kind of need to get a better feel for where they think we would be for the second half of next year. But accompanying that was just sort of at least some of the preliminary plans for both the office space and the chambers. And I've had discussions with some of you, with facilities, about the needs we have in each floor. And so if you would like to have me go over with you what those plans are, just have your council member aide set up an appointment, and then with me. I mean, I'm generally available. Your schedules are much tougher to do. So, and I can sit down and basically show you the blueprints we're looking at now. And it really is about sort of the shell. Like, we have not talked about the design work that will need to happen in terms of like finishes and wood tones and handles. This is really just what the basic building blocks are going to be in each floor. So I'm happy to do that with you, or just I can share. Generally, it's just kind of hard looking at that and orienting yourself. And it seems I've had better discussions when I've been one-on-one with people about what it looks like. So just happy to have that meeting with you. And again, if you want to kind of understand like the full plans, because there will be a lot of moves, temporary moves to permanent moves, a lot of shuffling going on in both buildings. As you know, exec has already moved along with communications, pieces of finance into the new building, at least on a temporary basis, to allow for the destruction, the gutting of the prior floors. And so there'll be movement here and there. I think some of you've experienced that in the past. I haven't, but it's starting to roll now. I would say the project. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions that you have.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Big big move to lose the clerk of the council, but she certainly deserves her retirement after a significant amount of public service. So we will certainly move our schedule around to accommodate the highlighting of the amazing career of Denise Johnson. So thank you I look forward to working with you on that, and we'll all work together to make sure we recognize her great work. Any questions for Ms. Murray? I don't see any. I don't have any further chair's topics today that we're not going to discuss elsewhere. So let's move right into other business. Communications Manager and Public Information Officer updates. Mr. Dominique.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of council, Brian Dominique, council staff. Not a lot in terms of communications updates, but I do have some proclamations to go over. So in your council packet or your study session packet, there are 2 proclamations. One is for American with Disabilities Act Day. This is a recognition of the, I believe, 34th anniversary of the signing of the ADA. This was a rush proclamation, so it was in front of Rules and Operations today. They approved it to be on the agenda. But we are allowing council members a chance to provide input and edits until Thursday. So if you have any edits or anything, get with me or Councilmember Denson, who is the sponsor of that proclamation. And then we also have another proclamation in there for council review. This is for Pierce County Fair Weekend. And that's going to happen at Councilmember Krueger's and district meeting. So that will go before the Rules and Operations Committee next week. So council has some time to provide input on that as well. And another proclamation, community request came in from the Tacoma Pierce County Humane Society to proclaim Tacoma Pierce County Humane Society Day. I believe in August. We'd be looking at doing it on August 16th. So if anyone's interested in sponsoring that, go ahead and get with me. If not, I'll just let them know that we won't be moving forward with that. I think August 26th or no, July 26th would be when I would reach out to them and let them know. So just wanted to bring that to your attention that is out there and available, and that's all I have.
Any questions for Mr. Dominique? Thank you. Continuing under our new process of reviewing collective bargaining agreements here at study session, Ms. Chapman is going to brief on a collective bargaining agreement with the professional and technical employees, local number 17. Ms. Chapman.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Rebecca Chapman, council staff. So before you, for consideration, introduction, excuse me, is ordinance O-2024-536. This, as Ms. Long mentioned earlier, it's an ordinance ratifying the collective bargaining agreement with the professional and technical employees, local 17 engineering unit. This 2-year collective bargaining agreement impacts 213.50 FTEs in 2024 and 214.50 FTEs in 2025. These employees are employed within the Planning and Public Works Department within the engineering unit. Positions covered include asset management specialist, right-of-way agent, engineering technician, civil engineering training, civil engineer, contract and projects manager, environmental biologist, GIS specialist, project management specialist, public works project coordinator, water quality specialist. The positions are all listed in Exhibit A, Appendix A, which is on page 28. No, it's not on page 28, excuse me. The agreement runs from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. The agreement calls for a wage increase of 4% on January 8th, 2024, and 4% on January 6th, 2025. The fiscal impact for 2024 is $1,021,650. And in 2025, $2,085,030. The new, the additional position in 2025 is a position that has been set up through a memorandum of understanding with the collective bargaining agreement that it would be included in the new agreement. So that position is in the budget, is not a new budgeted, is not, it is a position that that already exists in the current budget. And Matthew Wood is here, thank you, from the department for any additional questions.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Mr. Woods, thank you for joining us. Anything to add on behalf of the department?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, there was an MOU that is going to look into use the PDQ process to look at some job descriptions. And then as Ms. Chapman said, there's also, we still have to negotiate the new position that was created.
Thank you for your good work, Mr. Wood, and thank you for being here. Questions for Ms. Chapman or Mr. Wood on the collective bargaining agreement? We've discussed this in a closed session and previously, but anything at this time? Councilmember Morel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You indicated there was 4% increase of COLA, cost of living. Was there any other increases, medical, dental, anything like that?
I will refer to Mr. Wood for that question.
Thank you, Councilman Morel. The changes were no different than any of the other collective bargaining agreements. We maintain the status quo on the medical and dental, and so there was no impact to the employee.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Thank you, Mr. Wood. This will appear on next week's council meeting for final action. Next week, Tuesday, July 23rd. Are there any other items of business by other members? Ms. Long, any other business for council?
Not today, thank you.
With no other business before the Pierce County Council in Tuesday study session, we are adjourned.